YouTube, what's good? It's your boy, Paulus Harris, aka Crazy Uncle. Hey, guess what? This your first time tuning in. Go ahead, hit doggone subscribe button, hit notification bell every time I post up new content. Well, listen, it may be news for me, all right? But this is actually like really, this is like one thing that actually really got past the radar, right? So apparently, taste the beverage. So apparently, Trick Daddy has came out and said, hey, look, I'm not African American. Don't call me African American. And the tag of African American should be removed from all so-called black folks, which for the most part, you know, I've actually really been saying, I've said it. Uh, my brother, Dane Calloway, has said it. And then, for the most part, just look at my motherfucking tattoos, right? If I was black, right, then you couldn't see my tattoos, right? Matter of fact, why would I even have a motherfucking tattoo, right? If this is what's gonna be the motherfucking color, right? So, by another case, right? So, I can tell you at least two people that are mad right now, right? Considering, well, I already know one has actually already heard it because I just watched her motherfucking video. But the other one, so-called Dr. Umar Johnson, right? He probably like jumping, you know, he probably like jumping backwards and flipping through his asshole or whatever. And be like, wow, how dare he say that he's not African American, right? But then again, I mean, let's actually really talk basic geography for a minute, right? Far as we know, there are 7 continents, right? And for now, unless they have changed it since I've been out of school, Africa is a continent with many countries. So they're like whoever this Gula Geechee person is, right? You know, apparently this woman don't know basic geography because if she did, she never would have came out with that bullshit video that she just put out, right? Africa is a continent, not a goddamn country. So, because I watched that bullshit and and I asked her, I said, so okay, what do you call people from Egypt, Sudan, Liberia, Nigeria, right? What do you call them, right? Because those are countries that are in Africa. Africa is the continent, right? And then you have to ask yourself, okay, whether you want to believe it or not, right? You know, there was at one point in time, there was a super continent called Pangea, right? Now, find Africa in all of that madness, right? And then even when the continents begin to separate, right? Then you got to ask yourself, okay, what was that piece of land called before somebody said, oh, we gonna call this Africa? And I already know what a lot of y'all are gonna say, right? A lot of y'all gonna say, well, it was called Kemet. Okay, before that, what was it called? A lot of you motherfuckers can't tell me that. So listen. I really ain't too fucked up about what it is called right now. Tell me what the fuck it was before it was Africa, before it was Kemet, or any goddamn thing else for that matter. Tell me what the fuck it was. Because I can tell you who was over there. It was a whole bunch of goddamn Hebrews over there. Matter of fact, 12 tribes of Hebrew people who were in that area that is now called Africa. See, this is what a lot of these ignorant bastards don't tell y'all. They just going off of what the fuck is called now. What was it called back then? They can't tell you that shit. They just talk about, then the bitch gonna talk about, well, there's documented proof. Okay, bitch, where are the slave ships at? Right? Yeah, you got proof that we came over here, but my thing is, okay, how we get here? How we get here? Because it wasn't on no damn boat, I can tell you that right now. Right? Because during that time frame, right, the maps were sketchy at best, which for the most part, I always figured out, I'm like, okay, how the fuck y'all gonna make a map of some shit from an aerial point of view, right? And when no goddamn airplanes around during that time frame, right? Either that or somebody lying some goddamn where, right? And don't be talking about, oh, when the aliens came, no, ain't no aliens came down and filmed shit. And if they did, they ain't finna get us. So again, so my whole deal is, right? How we get over here? Unless we was already over here. This bitch wanna holler about rice. You holler about one goddamn food. Don't you know that rice can sit up for years, right? And then you probably still eat that shit after a while. Now, would I trust it? Hell no, right? But you know, my whole deal is, don't sit up here and holler about rice when you put it on the boat, right? The rice ain't going no goddamn where, right? But the people gonna die because they pissing and shitting everywhere. And then just know that motherfuckers get sick, shit becomes airborne, and then guess what? You got a boat full of people in the middle of no goddamn where. But that's how we got here. You can miss me with that damn bullshit, but you're talking. Right? And then it's just for the simple fact, y'all already, you know, my whole deal is this. Y'all already know where I'm from. Y'all already know what I did. 21 years I served this country. So I've been across that water a whole bunch of times. And then you're going back to the video, right? Then this bitch gonna sit up here and talk about Europeans. I have yet, put it like this, in my 51 years of living, right? I have yet to see or European. Now, I've seen a German. I've seen a lot of German people, right? I've seen Swedish. I've seen British, right? Czechoslovakian. Listen, I done seen all the people. But see, this is how motherfuckers get you. They'll take all that and be like, okay, this is Europe. And then you will call all them folk European. And I'll be the first one to tell you, carry your ass over there and call the motherfuckers European if you wanna, and see what the fuck won't happen to you. They gonna look at you crazy. Motherfucker, I ain't no goddamn European, I'm German. Right? That's something that y'all ain't got used to, because the powers that be, right? Or the powers that shouldn't be, right? Like labeling motherfuckers. Hence, African American, right? I'll be the first one to tell you, right? A lot of it goes back to really not paying attention to your own family. Because I can't tell you how many times that my mama has said, boy, you ain't African American. You were born right here in Little Rock, Arkansas. And my grandmama, she ain't from my mama, which is your grandma, right? She ain't from Africa. And then my great grandma, right? Because here's the deal, right? A lot of us don't get to see our grandparents. And then even fewer of us get to see our great grandparents. See, I got a chance to meet my great grandmother, right? And my great aunt. Both of them, right? I know, like, my great aunt, right? She was born in 1906, which is roughly, what, 45 years after the slave trade, right? So, but even then, she never mentioned about any of her parents coming off the boat. So what the fuck are y'all talking about, right? And so, and then to, like, say, do your research, right? The state of Arkansas, right? That name by itself is a Quapaw name, right? But then again, I've done videos, and I don't know if it's on this channel, it may be on my previous channel, but I really did a show where I called it name switching, meaning that, okay, we was once this. We were Hebrew Israelites. So we went from Hebrew to being Native American, or let's just say, like, we went from Hebrew to being African American to Negro to now Native American. But my whole deal is this. And I've said this plenty of times, right? How the fuck you gonna call me Native American when I was over here? And yes, I am saying yes, before I was over here, right? Before it was called motherfucking American. So please Somebody explain that shit to me. Because that shit don't make no type of sense. So basically, when these motherfuckers come out and try to make the case about we are from Africa. Africa is a continent, not a country. And I wait for that bitch to actually hit me back. Right? So, because I'm going to kick her ass. I'm going to make her look real stupid. Right? So, and just for those of y'all that know me, y'all know this is what the fuck I live for. Even though I really don't like doing it. I really don't. But it's just for the simple fact that, hey, look, if I can get a chance to whoop your ass, then by all means, let's go, goddammit. So, just like I said, because I've traced my family tree back or whatever. And like I said, on my mother's side, I'm, even though, because I actually really went back and looked at a video or whatever, and then they actually really told us what was in the area at that particular time. So, for the most part, right, I know, like, my grandmother, right, was Cherokee. She's Cherokee Indian, right? And then I really want to say, I'm still trying to figure out that piece of what my grandfather was, right? Because he was either Cherokee or he was either Quapaw. I really don't know, right? And then there's that on my father's side, right? My grandparents, my grandfather was Jamaican and my grandmother was Puerto Rican, right? Or at least this is what has been told to me, right? So now, regardless of point of origin, right? Because it's just like what the fuck I said earlier, right? What was Africa called before it was actually really called? What was Africa called before it was called Africa? And what was it, and like what I told y'all, look, don't come to me with that Kemet shit. I'm talking about you before then, right? So like I said, if you motherfuckers want to do research, goddamn it, let's do research, right? You want to go deep with this? Listen. Because when I go deep, I'm talking Marianas Trench deep, right? Because just know that my lungs, I don't know about the rest of y'all, right? Well, my lungs can handle that goddamn pressure, right? Because see, this is what the fuck happens. People that so-called do research, right? They lungs can't handle that motherfucking pressure. Or their brain can't handle that motherfucking pressure. See, my brain can handle that pressure. And so then when I come back up to the surface, I can be like, hey, look, guess what? Guess what? It was called this. If y'all really want to sit up here and talk about Africa being the motherland, well, guess what? Before it was Kemet, it was called this, right? But then it's just like what I told you. Go in the Bible, people. Go in the Bible and look up all of those motherfucking cities that they named off, right? I mean, because my thing is this. I'm not going to sit up here and actually give you an exact name. It's not what the fuck I do, right? So what I do is what I tell you, and then I know a lot of y'all motherfuckers go, well, you don't know neither. Yes, I do. But I'm just like, listen, go do your research, right? Go do your research. It's too goddamn easy. Because the crazy uncle can tell you any goddamn thing, right? But if you go do your research, find out what the fuck this shit was called before it was called Africa, before it was called Kemet, right? And then ask yourself, who the fuck are you really? Right? I'm like this. I'm actually like really going towards Hebrew Israelite, right? The 12 tribes. We are part of the original 12, right? And you know, just like I said, you know, but during the course of time, right? Not to say that people lost their identity, but it's almost like, okay, well, you know, it's you know, it's just like, okay, well, hey, guess what? You know, you come to a new land, right? And you hunt. And so you want to try to look like the animal that you're hunting, right? How else are you going to actually really get the kill? Right? And to my purple and gold motherfuckers. Right? You know, for the most part, I really don't know who works. Y'all and the motherfuckers on selling that goddamn daily call or whatever the fuck it is. Right? I really don't know who's worse. Right? But in either case, here's the deal, people. None of us, right, are from so-called Africa, right? And I'm saying that because I'm going way back to day motherfucking one. You ain't ready to go to day one with me, don't say shit to me. Cause you ain't ready. You're not ready for that. You listen, you're not ready for the crazy uncle. I'm just putting it out there. Right? So with that being said, hey, tell your mama, tell your daddy, tell your dad, tell your birthday, your uncle, your auntie, your grandma, your papa, motherfucker next door, cross the street, round the corner, Paulus Harris, aka Crazy Uncle. I'll holler at y'all.